I want us to start from section 2. So go to number 17 of that second paper. Number 17 of that second paper. You will find that it is an equation of a straight line. Equation of a straight line. We've been told that the line L1, whose equation is 2x plus hy equals k. That it cuts x-axis at x equals 6. And it cuts y-axis at x equals 12. There is a small correction there. There is a small correction. When the line cuts the y-axis, the value of x is 0. When the line cuts the y-axis, the value of x is 0. So in that case, it cuts the y-axis at 0, 12, not 12, 0. So that is the value of y, that is 12 there, not x. So members, I want you to notice what I've said, that when the line cuts the y-axis, the value of x is 0. And therefore, it's not x equals 12, it's y being 12 there. So that we have 2 points. We have 2 points. Six, 0, and 0, 12. You have 2 points, 6, 0, and 0, 12. Now they want us to get the gradient of the line. The gradient of line L1 using the 2 points 6, 0 and 0, 12. Gradient is given by change in y over change in x. And if you work that out, you're getting the gradient as -2. Because it is 12 minus 0 all over 0 minus 6, which is 12 over -6, giving us -2. We started by answering part B. Aha. Once we've answered that and we've agreed that the gradient is -2, the examiner wants the values of constant h and k in the equation. Now, we want to form an equation, and I want us to take one of the points, either 6, 0 or 0, 12, any of them, and the general point xy. With those 2 points and our gradient is already known as -2, let's go ahead and form the equation of a line. The equation of a line will be y minus 0. I've taken 6, 0 as the point. The equation of a line will be y minus 0 over x minus 6 equals -2. Therefore, you cross multiply, you get y equals -2x plus 12. Y equals -2x plus 12. Then you can rewrite in the form ax plus by equals k. And I have ended up with 2x minus y equals 12. 2x minus y equals 12. I've just reshuffled those values from the previous equation. Y equals negative 2x plus 12. I've decided to take y to the right hand side and 12 to the left hand side. So I've ended up with 2x minus y equals negative 12. 2x minus y equals negative 12. And therefore, in my case, my h is 1 and my k is negative 12. My h is 1 and my k is negative 12. Having said that, part C of the question says, I hope up to that point we are in agreement. Part C says they find the equation of L2, which is perpendicular to L1. We already have our L1, and we want an equation of another line that is perpendicular to L1 and passes through negative 2, negative 5. It passes through negative 2, negative 5. So from that information, I have the gradient of L2. Why? Because if two lines are said to be perpendicular, the product of the gradient is negative 1. The product of the gradient is negative 1. Therefore, if the gradient of L1 is negative 2, we normally take the reciprocal and change the sign. So we take reciprocal of negative 2, which is a half. Get a half.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
So what were the values of h and k?
H and k, we've agreed h to be 1 and k to be negative 12.
H1 or negative 1?
Say that again. Oh, sorry.
It's negative 1 and
It's negative 1 and negative 12.
positive 12.
Positive 12.
K is positive 12 while h is negative 1.
The equation is y equals negative 2x plus 12, right?
Yes.
So if you want to rewrite in the form they had given us of 2x plus h y equals k, it means that we
The form
make
will be
2x
minus y is equals to 12.
2x minus y.
Yes.
Yeah, you are right. We have moved negative 2x to the left hand side.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have 2x
Minus
plus
y is
y
equals to
plus
minus y.
y. Now listen, let's agree that the equation is y equals negative 2x plus 12, right?
Yes.
Now we want to bring negative 2x to the side of y.
Yes.
So it will be positive 2x plus y equals 12. Do we agree?
Yes.
Good. So the value of h will be positive 1 and the value of k will be positive 12.
Yes.
Great. Now we can proceed to that part C, where we have the perpendicular. That one we have agreed.
Yes.
Great. Now, at that point, we have point -2, -5. We have a general point xy, and then we have the gradient, which is a half, as we have agreed. So again, the concept of gradient, change in y over change in x, that gives us y minus -5, which is y plus 5, over x minus -2, which is x plus 2, equals a half. We cross multiply that, and we end up with 2y plus 10 equals x plus 2. Then from there, we could rewrite in the form ax plus by equals c. I have it as 2y minus x equals -8. 2y minus x equals -8. I hope in that case we are in agreement. And if we are, then they want us to rewrite, to give our answer in double intercept form. The double intercept form means we rewrite our equation in the form x over a plus y over b equals 1. So on our right hand side, we must have 1 and nothing else. And now that we have -8 on the right hand side, we divide all through by that -8. I have divided and I have ended up with x over 8 minus y over 4 equals 1. I say that again, x over 8 minus y over 4 equals 1. That is my double intercept form. I hope we are in agreement to that end. I thought that question is important because, members, equation of a straight line is a very examinable topic. There can never be a complete exam without concept of equation of a straight line being tested. And therefore, the many we do, the better for everyone. Should you have forgotten concepts to do with y-intercept, x-intercept, gradient, perpendicular lines, parallel lines, intersecting points, we take this opportunity to get to understand them. Now, I want us to skip number 18 and go to number 19. Number 18 is a logical question, so I expect that you will work on it on your own. It's not difficult. It's a question we were testing in Form 1 some times ago. So if you go to number 19, there is a data provided for statistics there. Thank you. We are told that there are some 36 students here, and their height was recorded as given. Now, the examiner wants us to make a frequency distribution table. A frequency distribution table consists of class and frequency. So we need to do that table to get the 2 marks. We are well instructed to use an interval of 5. I mean an interval of 5. And the class will start from 145 to 149. That's the first class. So let's go ahead and form that frequency distribution table. I want to give you some 2 minutes to do that so that I don't do it for you. We must participate. So I'm keeping quiet for 2 minutes. You gather your data and put it in a frequency distribution. Yes, are we done now? I want to imagine that we have our tables and our frequency. We have classes from 140 to 149, 150, 154, 155, 159, 160, 164, 165 to 169, 170 to 174, and finally 175 to 179. You have the frequencies that are adding up to 36. That gives us the frequency distribution table. Now we are told from our table calculate the mean. For us to get the mean, we need to add the column for x, which is midpoint, and another column called fx, frequency times midpoints. I want you to develop them very fast to get the mean. I should be waiting for you at fx because that's the value we need. Fx. Get there at fx. F of x, there was somebody who had responded to me. I wish he could respond and we compare notes. I want to confirm for the purposes of agreement that frequencies are 2, 2, 8, 3, 10, 9, 2, total 36. F of x, I got 5912. I got 5912. So if you work out summation of fx divided by summation of f, that is 5912 divided by 36. I got the mean height as 164.22. 164.22 was my mean. Then there is a part on median. Median will require me to get cumulative frequency. In the cumulative frequency, I'll add the values as we normally do. 2 plus 2 plus 8 plus 3 plus 10 plus blah, blah, blah. So the 2, 4, 12, 15, 25, plus 9, 35, 34, plus 2, 36. And in that case, the half of 36 36 divided by 2 is 18. 18 is found in the class that carry 25. And that is between 165 and 169. So we shall take the lower class boundary, 164.5 plus 18, which is n over 2, minus previous cumulative, which is 15, divided by current frequency, which happens to be 10, multiplied by class interval of 5. That formula of median we ought to remind ourselves so often because it's not found in the tables, but we have used it severally. Now it should be part of us. I have said it is lower class boundary plus into bracket n over 2 minus previous cumulative frequency, that divided by current frequency. Then you close with bracket, you multiply by the class interval. Multiply by class interval. Now, I have read the values and I have them, I have mine as 0.3 times 5. It's 1.5 plus 164.5. I'm getting 166 as my median. I am getting 166 as my median. I don't know whether there could be a reaction from a student or so, but I don't want people to chat. I would rather somebody speak. Great. Silence means that we are good to go. We draw, part C says we draw a frequency polygon to present the data. I may not want us to draw, but I want to make the following observations. Number one is that you can draw frequency polygon without necessarily drawing histogram. I was discussing with somebody else and they were telling me, is there a way of drawing a polygon without drawing histogram first? And I said, yes. You just need a column of midpoint, which we have as our x. And we need the frequency. So the y-axis will take the frequency, the x-axis will take the midpoints. Then we plot those. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that so long as you are drawing a polygon, a frequency polygon, it must touch the x-axis, both sides, from the beginning and at the end. So you must do what you can to make sure that you join that polygon back to the x-axis to make it a frequency polygon. A polygon is a many-sided plane figure. A polygon is a many-sided plane figure. So that would be important to note. Great. Let us go to number 20. Number 20. Ashira, take me to 20. Pull it up. Great. There we are. We are given some two intersecting circles. I always have my reservations with this question because over a long period of time, we've not had it being tested. I don't know why they don't test it in KCC, but they test the sections or parts of a circle. Intersecting circles, it's a very relevant question, yet they have not tested it for, I don't know, for so long. Now, away from that, I want us to observe this diagram. We are told that the two circles one with the center O1, which is smaller one. The other one is, the bigger one has center O2. The radius of the smaller circle is 10. The radius of the bigger circle is 16. They're asking us, first of all, to calculate the sector of PO1Q and then the sector of PO2Q. I would say before you get those sectors, we first of all get the angles. Let's get angle PO1Q. They have already given us PO1O2, which is 32, meaning PO1Q is 32 times 2, which is 64. Can put that aside. Then PO2Q, we calculate, we put it aside. And we already know how to calculate this. Now, members, those that are following, I want you to join P to Q with a straight line. Join P to Q with a straight line. That line PQ will intersect with O1, O2 somewhere at whatever point. You can call it M. Where the two lines are intersecting, you can call it M. I want you to note that triangle PO1M is right angle at M. It's right angle, it's 90 degrees at M. And we already have PO1, which is 10. So we can get the other two measurements, or the other measurement we given is the angle PO1M is 32. Using SOHCAHTOA, we can say that sine 32 is opposite, which is H, which is PM. PM is our opposite. I'm calling it H of hypotenuse, which is 10. Sorry. I've said triangle PO1M is a right angled triangle at M. We are saying sine 32 equals H over 10. You cross multiply, you get 10 sine 32 equals H, and therefore our H is 5.299, or roughly 5.3 centimeters. If PM is 5.3, what is PQ? PQ is 10.6, because we are multiplying that by 2. Great. Going on the other side of the bigger circle, PMO2 is a right angled triangle, again at M. We do not have angle PO2M, but we have PM as 5.3, and we have PO2 as 16, which is hypotenuse. Using SOHCAHTOA again, we can say sine theta is 5.3 over 16. Sine theta is 5.3 all over 16. You get sine inverse, you get 19.34 degrees. And therefore, angle PO2Q is 38.7. You multiply your answer by 2, you get 38.7 degrees. Having those two angles, now we can work out what they want. They want area of sectors. Sector PO1Q will be given by theta over 360 times pi r squared. Theta over 360 times pi r squared. That is 64 over 360 times 22 over 7 times 10 squared. 22 over 7 times I mean 64 over 360 times 22 over 7 times 10 squared. That worked out by someone, you'll get 55.87. You work that out, you'll get 55.87. Then the other sector, PO2Q, PO2Q will be theta over 360 times pi r squared. That is 38.7 over 360 times 22 over 7 times 16 squared. You work out that, you get 86.49. 86.49 centimeter square. Great. I don't know whether that's okay, but I think we have explained it well. I want us now to consider the next question they're asking, calculate the area of intersecting region. What is meant by intersecting region? It's the shared section. The shared section is the region that is formed by the two segments in between the two circles. Don't pull it up. We are in part. Sorry, please bring it down. The intersecting region is the section formed by the two segments. I'm sure you now know what a segment is. And I want us to do this. How do we get area of the the intersecting region? We will get sector minus triangle. It gives us segment. Then the other sector minus its triangle gives you the other segment. I want to repeat that. Area of sector minus area of a triangle will leave you a segment. Area of a sector minus the other triangle gives you segment. So I'll have it as the first sector was 55.87 minus its triangle is a half times A times B sine theta, which is a half times 10 squared sine 64. I got 44.94, and the difference is 10.93 centimeter square. 10.93 centimeter square. I go to the other sector, which was 86.49 minus a half times 16 times 16 sine 38.7. That triangle I got 80.03. 80.03. And then the difference is 6.46. 6.46. I add the two segments, 10.93 and 6.46. I'm getting 17.39. I'm getting 17.39. Now, the animal in the house is the part C, area of the shaded region. I want you to take a moment and think of how to get that. Just one moment, think on how to get that area. All right. So I'm sure you have had your moment to check, but the approach here is we already have the intersecting region, which is two segments. If you divided this triangle, is it triangle or what I call it? P, if you look at P01, O2, the upper section, is the one that carries the shaded region. At the same time, that section carries half of the intersecting region. It carries half of the intersecting region. So if we could divide this 17.39 by 2, we would get 8.695. That is the unshaded region on that triangle. That would be the unshaded region in that triangle. Then we can go ahead and get the area of triangle P1 or 2. We can do that. We can determine the base 1 or 2, but better still, we could take the triangle, because we already know the two triangles, what they were giving us. The smaller triangle was 44.94. We worked that together up here. And the bigger triangle was 80.03. If you add them, you are getting 124.97. Then you divide by 2, you get 62.48. 62.48. So that's the area of triangle P01 or 2, 62.485. Then you subtract the unshaded region, which we have agreed is 8.695. If you get the difference, it is 53.79. 53.79. So you can check through that and see whether that's basically what we are getting. And to me, that is it. And it's a good one. Let's proceed to the next question, number 21. Number 21 happens to be a very friendly question. It's a question on matrices. We are told that Lisa bought 5 pencils and 6 books at 1,800 shillings. Njoroge bought 4 pencils and 3 books at 540 shillings less. I'm supposed to form 2 equations in terms of P and B. P to represent a book, a pen, and B to represent a book to express this. The 2 equations are direct. 5P plus 6B equals 1,800. The other one is 4P plus 3B equals 1,260. How 1,260? It is 1,800 minus 540 to get 1,260. All right. With that equation, we are supposed to extract. We extract the matrix from it, or we write it in echelon form. Extract that. We will get, I'm reading in column form, 5, 4, 6, 3, that is our matrix, into bracket, PB in column form equals 1,800, 1,260 in column form. Once we have that matrix, what are they telling us to do? Take me to part C, write the equation as a matrix. Take me to part C. They are going to tell us, or they have told us, to solve the 2 equation by matrix method. Ashira, push the question up. So now, I want us to remember how to solve simultaneous equations by matrix method. And the first thing is to get the determinant. How do you get determinant? It is the leading diagonal multiplied, leading diagonal minus trailing diagonal. What do I mean by leading diagonal? Is the diagonal that starts with 5. So it's 5 times 3 minus the trailing diagonal, or the other diagonal, is 4 times 6. If you get that difference, you will get your determinant as -9. You get determinant as -9. Now, if your determinant is -9, how do we get inverse of a matrix? Inverse is given by 1 over determinant into bracket. I say that again, 1 all over determinant into bracket. You interchange the leading diagonal, then you change the signs of the trailing diagonal. Can say that again, 1 over determinant into bracket, interchange the leading diagonal, then you change the signs of the trailing diagonal. So I have 1 over -9 into bracket, 3 -4, -6, 5. If I multiply that by the original matrix, 5, 4, 6, 3, and I multiply that by PB, then I should get -1 over 9 into bracket, the inverse, multiplied by the answer. Why are we doing this? Because we already learned that a matrix times its inverse gives us identity matrix. I can say that again. Matrix A times its inverse A inverse should give us I, where I is identity matrix. Identity matrix is in the form 1, 0, 0, 1. So on the left hand side, we shall have 1, 0, 0, 1 into bracket PB equals, we work out the right hand side. Remember, class, we pre-multiply. We pre-multiply with the inverse. The inverse cannot come at the end, it comes in the beginning. That is the position of the inverse matrix. Why? Because of compatibility. Because of compatibility. You remember what we learned when we were discussing compatibility in matrices? The matrices, for them to be operated, they must be compatible. What we mean by compatible or compatibility, the matrix of inverse is 2 by 2, which is 3, -4, and -6, 5. The answers 1800 and 1260 is a 2 by 1. For matrices to be compatible, this order is row followed by column. The column of the first matrix must be equal to the rows of the second matrix. That's what we mean by compatibility. So in that case, once we have pre-multiplied, I am getting 240 and 100 in column form. 240 and 100 in column form. So it simply means that the P, which is pen, is 240 shillings, and the B, which happens to be the book, it's 100 shillings. That's how we solve a simultaneous equation by matrix method. That's how we solve that. Great. Take me to the next number. I want a number that has a linear motion question. I think it's number 22. Take me to 22 on linear motion. I'm told that a car and a bus left Kisumu at 6 a.m. Ashira, take me. Ashira. A car and a bus left Kisumu at 6 a.m. a distance to Nairobi, a distance of 600 kilometers. car and a bus left Kisumu for Nairobi at 6 a.m., a distance of 600 kilometers. After 48 minutes, the car broke down and it took 54 minutes to fix. Ashira, it took 54 minutes to fix it. And therefore the question is, we find what do they want us to find? Ashira, push it up. Sorry for that hitch. Sorry. We are saying that these two bodies, car and the bus, they are moving from Kisumu to Nairobi. The distance is 600 kilometers and they left at 6 a.m. The bus is doing an average of 80 kilometers per hour. The car is doing 120 kilometers per hour. Now, after 48 minutes, the car breaks down and it takes 54 minutes to fix it. The first question is, how long did the car wait before the bus got to where it developed mechanical problem? So definitely, because of the high speed of the car will be ahead of the bus. That's why they're asking us, how long did the car have to wait for the bus to get there? We shall get the two distances and then we subtract. In 48 minutes, what's the distance of the bus? In 48 minutes, 48 over 60 times 80 kilometers per hour, that is 64 kilometers. Then 120 times 48 over 60, that is 96 kilometers. So in between them, there was already 32 kilometers. 96 minus 64, there is a difference of 32 kilometers. If you want to know how long the car had to wait, this distance will be divided by speed to give us time, because time is distance over speed. So 32 divided by speed of the bus, which is 80, you're getting 0.4, which you convert to minutes, you are getting 24 minutes. The car had to wait for 24 minutes for the bus to get where it had broken down at. I think that is well discussed and solved. Now, the part B of the question asks, how far from Kisumu the car caught up with the bus? How far from Kisumu the car caught up with the bus? Aha. Now the bus continued to travel as soon as it passed the broken car. The car delayed there for 54 minutes for fixing. The bus passed by and went ahead towards Nairobi. Now the question is, how far from Kisumu the car caught up with the bus? Now in these 54 minutes, the bus was definitely traveling, and it did 80 kilometers per hour times 54 over 60. It did 72 kilometers. And these 72 kilometers is part of what the car should catch up with, bearing in mind that the bus is still moving, it is not stopping. So it's 72 kilometers plus what they are covering together. How do we do that? We shall get this time as distance of separation divided by relative speed. Divided by relative speed. And because these two bodies are moving in the same direction, how do we get relative speed? We subtract. Same direction, we subtract. Opposite direction, we add. So 120 minus 80 gives us 120 minus 80 gives us 40 kilometers. One 20 minus 80 gives us 40. So if we want to know time that was the difference, it's 72 over 40, which gives us 1 hour 48 minutes. 1 hour 48 minutes. Now, that time, can you give that time to this car so that it can do the catch up? It will be 1 hour, which is 72 over 40, multiplied by speed of the car, which is 120. You'll get 216 kilometers. That's the distance this car will cover. Remember, it had covered some 96 kilometers earlier. So if you add, you'll get 312 kilometers. 312 kilometers from Kisumu. That's where it will catch up with the bus. But the question is, at what time? The question is, at what time? So at what time it will be, we have seen that it traveled for 48 minutes. So 6 a.m. we add 48 minutes, we get 6:48. We add the new time difference of 1 hour 48 minutes. It gives us 8:36 a.m. And you remember it spent some more time in repair, in fixing of 54 minutes. we add that, we get 9:30 a.m. So it is suffice to say that the car will catch up with the bus at 9:30 a.m. I hope I'm clear on that explanation. And then how long did the car wait before the bus arrived? How long did the car wait before the bus arrived in Nairobi? We can say there are several approaches to this question, but I want to take an approach of distance over time, which is simple. I divide 600 divided by 80, and I know it needs 7.5 hours or 7 hours 30 minutes for the bus to move from Kisumu to Nairobi. Then the car would need 600 divided by 120. That is 5 hours. That is 5 hours plus the time it is spent on the repair. It is spent some time on repair, 54 minutes. You subtract, you'll get the difference would be 6. 9 minus 8 minus 5 is 3, and 6 minus 5 is 1. I think the time difference, the time the car will have to wait would be 1 hour 36. 1 hour 36 minutes if nothing else happened. I don't know what you guys would have gotten, but I've decided to deal with the entire distance without sectioning it. And I think that's the correct approach. How long did the car wait before the bus arrived in Nairobi? The car waited for 1 hour 36 minutes. Because of the reasons I have given earlier. 7.5 is 7 hours 30 minutes. Then the car will take 5 hours plus the extra 54 minutes for repair. So it would need 5 hours 54 minutes to get to Nairobi. You get the time difference. All right. Having said that, I think we've covered some good ground in as far as linear motion is concerned. The linear motion concept is again very examinable. Alongside the equation of a straight line, these are sections we can bet that they will always be in the exam. For an exam to be complete, expect a question on relative speed or linear motion, so to expect. Moving on, I want us to look at another question that again is very examinable, touching on SOHCAHTOA or on trigonometry 2. Take us to the next question. The next question. Great. It's number 23. There. I'm told that there are 2 points on the same side here, points A and B. They're on the same side of the building on a level ground. The angle of elevation of the top of the building is 24 and 38 respectively. If the distance between A and B is 57, The distance between the 2 points is 57. We are supposed to form two expressions for the height of the building. I would look at this question as I'm trying to look at the most vintage point in our school. Yes, if somebody stood at the pi d, where we have the roundabout, if you stood by that pavement and looked up at Moi Kibaki, the angle of elevation will be smaller than if you moved forward to where the stairs begin to the same Moi Kibaki Hall. So I'm imagining this point A is at the roundabout and the point B is at the beginning or at the starting of the stairs. We are looking at the top of amphitheater, Moi Kibaki Amphitheater. So we're told that the distance between A and B is 57 meters, and the angle of elevations are given there. We're supposed to calculate the height of that building. We call it H. These are simple concepts, but requires critical thinking, and it borrows heavily on SOHCAHTOA, nothing much, and particularly on TAN. I want us to, from B to the bottom of the house or the building, I want that point at the bottom of the building to be called C, so that distance BC is X meters. Distance BC is X. The top of the building, call it T, so that we have triangle BTC, and it is 90 degrees at C. You have triangle BTC and it's 90 degrees at C. So, and angle B is 38 degrees. Distance BC is X meters. Distance TC is H meters. I want us to use tan 38 degrees equals opposite, which is H, over adjacent, which is X. I repeat, tan 38 degrees equals H, which is opposite, over adjacent X. Then we call it that equation 1. We go to point A up the back there, and we consider triangle ATC. We consider triangle ATC. It is 90 degrees. Yes?
I have not understood the explanation for Roman A. That sketch.
The sketch.
Yeah.
Can I give a photo of the same?
Yes, you can.
Right away. All right, I think now we have the diagram.
Yes.
Great. So what I'm saying is, using SOHCAHTOA, tan 38 equals opposite, which is H, over adjacent, which is X. That gives us one equation. Then let's go to point A so that we have ATC as another triangle. It is 90 degrees at C. So we shall have tan 24 degrees equals opposite H over adjacent, which happens to be X plus 57. It is X plus 57. Again, that is another second equation. Now, in the two equations, what is notable is letter H. I want us to make H subject in equation 1. So we shall multiply both sides by X. We shall have it as X tan 38 equals H, and X plus 57 into bracket tan 24 equals H. I hope people have followed that. You allow me to take a photo of the same again. So we are posting the same diagram now with more advanced part of the solution. We have the two equations where H is made subject. X tan 38 equals H, and X plus 57 tan 24 equals H. So in that case, we shall equate the two. We shall equate the two H. We have X tan 38 equals X plus 57 tan 24. Ashira, post for them. Good. I think now we have almost the final diagram. I mean the final workout. We have the two equations where H has been made subject. X tan 38 equals H, and X plus 57 tan 24 equals H. I want us to equate the two H, and therefore we are going to equate X tan 38 equals X plus 57 into bracket tan 24. Members, work that out. Using your calculator, give me the value of X.
75.53.
Say that again.
75.53.
Centimeters, not degrees.
Yes.
Great. Allow me just sometimes to confirm with you. Yes, it is 75.5. You said 5.3 or 5.1?
5.3.
5.3 meters. I think I have rounded off. That's why I'm getting 0.51. That's negligible. Great. Now, members, we are talking about, now we can be given the paper back. Share the paper again, please. We are talking about the value of x as 75.53. We can replace x. Now we have the value. We can get the height of the building. The height h is x, which is 75.53 times tan 38. What the height of the building now? It's 59.01 meters. Very, very clear. I hope people have followed, and that is it. Having done that, the height of the building, they want us to find the difference in distance between the top of the building and the point A and B. Find the difference in distance between Sorry, you moved fast. Give me, go down a bit. I want the distance, the difference in distance between, hey, teremsha kidogo, umeenda juu sana. Not that direction, the other direction, please. There. Find the difference in the distance between the top of the building and the points A and B. Distance between the top and the point. So it's this 59.01 minus 57. I suppose. I don't know whether I'm reading it correct. The difference in distance between the top of the building and the points A and B. I don't know whether they want AT and BT, we get the difference, or they want 59.01 minus 57. What is this?
AT minus BT.
AT minus BT.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's AT minus BT, then we are getting the hypotenuse of these lines, which is easy. We have them. Now that our h is already known as 59.01 and our x is 75.53, we can get the hypotenuse and get the difference, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I wish that we stop there because I don't want to get to the next question. And I want to say thank you for participating, and I hope people have learned something in this lesson. Let's meet in school for further consultation. Have a lovely weekend ahead.